Hi everyone, it's Noelia with My Moxie Dreams. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is going to be a plan with me in my Pocket Moleskine daily. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy this kind of content, and if you do, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. For everybody else, welcome back. I know you're probably realizing that I haven't been posting a lot, and that's for a few reasons. One, I've been super busy. As you guys know, last weekend, was it last weekend? I think so. Last weekend, we went to Tahoe. I will tell you that amazing traumatic story here as we jump in. And I don't know, I just haven't been feeling my Pocket Moleskine quite as much as I used to. And I think it's because it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. What I've decided to do is I leave this either on the living room coffee table. I have a shelf underneath, it's open, so I leave it there so that in the morning when I sit to have coffee, I pull it out and jot down. That I don't know, I just stopped paying attention, and then I moved it to my bedroom nightstand. I have a basket underneath, and so I have it in there, and I just haven't been engaged. So this weekend, I hadn't done stickers in here, and I had purchased a bunch of stickers. I think I posted on Instagram on the stories like how big my sticker book was, because I spent a Saturday just printing the ones that I had not, like the food ones. There was a lot of cute ones that I purchased that I had not printed. And so I went ahead and printed that over the weekend, and I just sat and did stickers, back filled a bunch of stickers. And I was going to do it with you guys, but it's just, weekends are tough because all my kids are home. My mom comes over, like it's crazy. And so I don't have the quiet mornings that I used to have where I would sit and just do plan with me's with you guys. So Mondays are kind of when it happened. So I went back and just backfilled a lot of there's some pages that don't have any either, because I got tired of putting stickers. Again, I don't know what it is. I hope I'm not over it, like overdoing the Pocket Moleskine. I hope that I never do. As you guys know, I tried something else in the beginning of the year. I can't even remember. I think I tried printables, and they were in my everyday carry, and I just was missing the fact that everything was in one book. And then Ruby's going, she has the zoomies, my cat Ruby. And then Binta sent me a 2025 that she had tested, because if you guys know that paper for Pocket Moleskine is horrendous, it's a hit or miss. She did a test and she knew that it was good quality for my Tombows, and she shipped me this, she mailed me this, which is why the front of my planner is dedicated to her, because she's the one who sent me a good quality Moleskine from France. Okay, sorry, this is story time. She recently sent me the 2026, and she sent me this, and maybe on another video we'll open it and do that. All this to say that I already have my 2026 because of Binta. Thank you, Binta. I adore you. I promise I'm going to send the package to you. I'm just being a nut job. So all that to say is I am already set for 2026. The other issue that I'm running into in the last month or two is I'm not recording as many videos. It used to be one video a week of this and one video a week in this. And I'm just not recording as often, again, schedule-wise, with everybody being home and, you know, telling everybody to stay in their rooms until I record. And also, back to the original thought, is I haven't been reaching for this quite as regularly as I was before. And part of that is I changed how I carried things. I used to carry both of these in a different bag, and I just stopped. I was realizing that I wasn't getting involved with my planners due to how I was carrying them to and from room to room and whatever. So that's the whole thing. But I'm not sure, I will be honest, that over the last 2 weeks, and really the last week, I've been really considering not doing my pocket Moleskine for 2026. And I don't know what that looks like. I really don't. I don't know what that looks like. And it may be just a fleeting feeling because I'm feeling overwhelmed. I don't know, but that is something that I'm really, really considering because it's starting to feel like a chore, like a have to instead of I want to. And again, it may just be the season that I'm in, you know, life-wise and mentally and physically. I don't know what it is, but I'm not having the 1000% joy that I used to. And then I start to do a plan with me and chatting with you guys, and it's going to be a blast. You guys are going to laugh your butts off with the stories that I have for you today. But I don't know. There's something disconnecting has disconnected with my daily Moleskine. And I don't know what that is. And I'm hoping that, like I said, it's a fleeting thought or feeling and that I will be back to loving this as much as I do my normal planner. Okay, so I just felt the need to share that. Sorry for the long bonkerness. Let's go ahead and get started with the plan with me and the story time. Again, we are using 991. I think it's light ochre. I can't remember. You guys know that I can't say certain words because I'm a nut. Let's take this out. Let's move her out of the way. Okay, you guys know I'd mentioned in the past that we go to Tahoe for my son's birthday weekend. His birthday fell midweek, so we went the weekend before. And he takes his 2 best friends who have families. They each have a child, and Christopher is the goddad to both of them. And I get to use my boss's beautiful, it's their ski home. It's my summer home in the sense that we go in the summers and we kayak. There's a private lake that only the people who live there, and it's very exclusive ski resort, and only people who live there can have access to this lake. All right. And so every year, I think we haven't gone since 2023, but every year we go, the kids just have a blast. There's all kinds of things there. There's the paddle, like the little, I don't want to say cars, but they're little paddle boats and people sit on them and paddle. There's those. There's a bunch of kayaks, paddle boards, canoes. Everything is free. They have life jackets. Everything is there for whoever wants to use it. Mind you, the weekend we went, it was going to be 86 degrees. So we knew there was going to be a lot of other people there. And so, yeah, so that's why the kids have such a good time. There's picnic tables, and they're in the center of this private lake is an island, and on the island is a tree house. So, you know, you swim out or you kayak out or whatever, and the kids can go into, you know, they get off and they are able to run up the little island, and it's so much fun for the kids. Okay. So, and the kids are, I want to say 5 and 3. They love their Nino Chris. Nino in Spanish is godfather. So that's kind of the situation. And then we come home, they had a pizza oven installed. We already have a barbecue pit out there and whatnot. So we were planning for a really fun weekend. We ended up leaving on Thursday. Belle stayed behind to watch the cats. She just didn't want to go. And Jay and I went with Chrissy, and Jay had work to do, homework and stuff for his class. So he stayed in my boss's office. It's the only room that has a TV and Wi-Fi. And he just stayed in that room kind of all weekend as he worked and played on his computer console, whatever. So we get there Thursday night, and my thing is always getting there, you know, try to get there the day before everybody arrives. Everybody was arriving about Friday at 3 p.m. So what I do is I go through the house. It's a huge house, you guys. Like it's a ski home and it's ginormous. So I start to go through all the bathrooms, making sure they're clean. Unfortunately, some of them were not. And so I cleaned bathrooms as soon as we get there, just so that everything is ready and prepared for when everybody gets there the following day. Now, they have a huge wraparound deck. And the way that it works is the bottom story is all the bedrooms, you know, the ski room where people sit down, all their ski stuff is in there. It's a beautiful multi-million-dollar home, you guys. Like, it is what it is, right? So I'm up, after I clean all the bathrooms upstairs and downstairs, I then go outside to the deck, because typically they don't, when concierge goes out there, when they know people are coming, they never like sweep up the pine needles from the trees or whatever. So in years past, I've always gone out there and made sure like I sweep and everything's clean, because that is my place. The deck is where I enjoy the entire weekend. It is the first thing I do. I go out there, I make my coffee. The whole house is quiet because everybody's still asleep. And I make my coffee and I sit outside on the chairs and just chill for a couple hours before everybody wakes up. And then at night, we've always gone when there's like a meteor shower. It happens around Christopher's birthday every year. This year we weren't going to be able to see it because we went early. I sit there at night and we just chill, okay? So it's Thursday night. I finished cleaning the bathrooms at about 10:30, and I'm like, I'm gonna go outside and just sweep so that tomorrow morning when I come out, it's gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna have to stress about cleaning. Everything's set and ready to go. I can have my coffee and just chill. So I go outside, and let me preface that she has these beautiful outdoor chairs, and they're always folded against the sliding door that leads into the kitchen. And then she has these beautiful furs that you throw over the chairs, and those are always in a basket inside the, you know, by the living room fireplace where all the blankets are, right? Because you can choose to use those or not. And I noticed when I went out that all 4 chairs were out on the deck, and the furs were also out on top of each chair. And I was like, okay, I knew that their youngest teenage daughter had been out there for the 4th of July. And I was like, okay, these chairs and the furs have been out here that long. I'm gonna have to vacuum the furs tomorrow morning, which is not a big deal. So as I'm getting ready to start sweeping, I bump one of the chairs. And when I did so, part of the fur kind of shifted. So I go to straighten out the fur, and all I see is a black ball coming at me. Like, it happened within seconds, like not even a split second. And I'm just being stung a gajillion times. And I'm realizing, like, oh my God, I just moved. I did something, and there's like a swarm. I thought for sure, it's like, I knew it was a swarm of something. I didn't know exactly what it was. And so where these chairs were in front of this huge sliding doors in the living room. So my instinct was to go run inside, and to have, Jaden was sitting in the living room doing homework on his computer, and Christopher was downstairs showering and whatever, shaving or whatever. And so my instinct was to open the sliding door in the living room and to go in and to close the door behind me, so that however many bees or whatever it was, hornets that were biting me, I would cut off as many. But I mean, they were angry. They were. So I run in, and I'm not even through the door yet. I'm pulling the door open, and I'm yelling to Jaden to close the door behind me and to run. Because my thought mentality is that I didn't want him to get bit. Jaden has never been bit by a bee, by anything. So he tends to be allergic to stuff. So my fear was he was going to get bit and have a really bad reaction. But he didn't run. He closed the door and you could just hear like the bees or the whatever. We ended up finding out they were yellow jackets. You could just hear them buzzing outside and like hitting the window. They were pissed with the capital P. So in that moment, I brought in, Jake closed the door and I brought in, or that followed me was probably about 30. They were all over. They were in my hair. I had thick yoga pants on and I had a short sleeve shirt with the tank top underneath. I was getting bit everywhere from the top of my head. By the grace of God, I didn't get bit in my face. And so I took my shirt off, the short sleeve shirt, and I'm just like swatting them off of me. There was a light in the kitchen, and I don't know if it was giving off a scent or what, but they started to leave me. Jaden was hitting me with a magazine, which I was screaming at him to leave because I didn't want him to get bit. And he proceeds to he got a magazine and he's like, swatting them off me as well. And then there was about 10 or 12. There was about 8 of them that ended up flying towards that light that was sending off some kind of scent. I don't even know. And they started to die because they would go into the light. And so Jaden ends up getting bit. And I tell him, just go run outside. Not outside. I told him to go run downstairs and take a shower, to just strip his clothes off, because I had them in my shirt. I had them. It was insane, you guys. And so I'm trying to tell him to just go run downstairs, that I was okay to go run downstairs and take a shower to get whatever. He got stung on his chest and on his side, and he got stung a bunch of times on his head, on the top of his head. And so as I'm like, okay, I'm seeing that I'm okay, that I have I could hear 2 or 3 that were still swarming me, wanting me to pay for disrupting them. So I run downstairs, and the way, I don't know, I'll try to put a picture of how the stairs looks. There's this huge chandelier. It's not really a chandelier. It's a lighting that has a bunch of balls hanging, and you could hear them. There was 3 left, and at that time I didn't know there was just 3 left because I was afraid to go back upstairs. I wasn't afraid. I just didn't want to I didn't know what I needed to be mentally prepared for going back upstairs. So Jay jumps in the shower. I'm bit everywhere on my body, and I go back upstairs, or I tell Chris is like, what happened? And I'm like, I tell him that I was outside. He immediately gets mad. He's like, why were you outside, Mom? But I'm thinking, thank God this happened to me. I'm thinking, thank God, because had I not gotten there and cleaned where this thing, it's a very low, they're very low to the ground chairs, and how it started was they started attacking straight on my thighs, and then they moved up to the rest of my body, right? Had the little ones been there and I hadn't cleaned the bottom, or hadn't cleaned it, they would have been bit all over their face, you guys. They would have been bit all over their face. And I was just grateful that it happened to me, because when I tell you I have a high tolerance of pain, y'all, I have a high tolerance of pain. And so Jaden comes out of the shower. Thankfully, Chris got the Dyson, and he just starts to find the last 3 or 4 of them, and he just sucks them up with the Dyson. I then call concierge, and they're like, we'll be there first thing in the morning. We're so sorry. So he comes first thing in the morning and sprays it, and in the morning I saw the piece that I had. There was a piece, I think I shared this on Instagram. There was a piece of the hornet's nest that fell out, but when he came and he sprayed them with whatever spray that you spray these things with, probably another 20, 30 flew out, and then he got close enough to get the fur and throw it over. And when he did that, the rest of the hornet's nest broke apart. And when I tell you, it was ginormous, you guys. It was ginormous. And Christopher's like, I can't believe in the evening when I was all bit, he could see everywhere that I was bit. And he's like, how are you not in pain? And I'm like, I can handle the burning sensation. It's not like a bee sting where you have to pull the thing out in order for it to stop. I knew that it's like, I can handle this. I've been bit before by wasps, and I knew I'd be okay. Jaden was not happy. And so the guy came the next day, and we saw how ginormous. And then the rest of that morning, he was like, should we cancel? Because there were still wasps that were coming to the area where the chair was, and they're like, hey, where's our home? Like, where's our nest? What's happening? But every time we would see them, Chris would use the Dyson to suck them up. And the issue is that you have these humongous, I'm going to try to put pictures, humongous sliding doors in the living room. And when you're there, you always have them open because you just want to hear the birds chirping and whatnot. And we had received a warning that there had been bear sightings, and for us to be careful with the bears. So that's what we were prepared for. Unfortunately, it was the wasp nest that took me out. It didn't take me out, but it certainly was. I was glad it happened to me and not the kids, the littles, right? And so, what's today? 82 and 51. And so we were like, should we cancel this? Because, we weren't sure. But by the time everybody got there at 3 o'clock, there was only a few yellow jackets kind of floating around, and that's normal, right? It's normal. We've always seen a few yellow jackets, but this was because there was a whole swarm that had made their nest there. So throughout the weekend, I told everyone, including the kids, like, you don't need to be scared. If you're frantic, then they will be frantic. If you swat them away, then they're going to be more aggressive. So the kids would be coloring in the living room, and the sliding door would be open, and one would come in and they would just ignore it, and the thing would fly back out. So it was just one or two lingering throughout the weekend that would fly around. And if they came in, Chris would just get the Dyson and suck them up. But it was certainly funny. Let me see. I know I have a lot going on this week, you guys. Yeah, it was a lot. And we had an issue with the pizza oven. That'll be next week. I will share that story. And then we had a racist Karen who caused an issue. And yeah, it was quite a weekend. And I was so glad to be home once we got home on Sunday afternoon or evening we got home. Yeah, there's more stories surrounding this weekend. It'll be the pizza oven story and the racist Karen story. That was bonkers, but I don't have time to give time in this particular video to be able to go over that. So that was the story of that's the story of the swarm of yellow jackets. And the only reason we figured out that it was the yellow jackets is because I was able to trap one under a glass. And so once I trapped it and I was done showering and going back up, finished cleaning or whatever, after everything settled on Thursday night, I went and I was like, okay, took a photo. And I didn't know if it was a yellow jacket or one of the other kind of wasps, but it was a yellow jacket. So yeah, I got bit. And what's funny is that it didn't faze me. in the sense that 10 to 2, in the sense that I wasn't itchy, everything was fine. However, when I came back on Tuesday, like a few days later, everything was starting, like you could see the welts of where they were, and they were starting not to hurt, but they were itchy. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, why am I all of a sudden getting like itchy? I had to put Neosporin and whatnot, but it was bonkerness, you guys. It was bonkerness. Okay. That is our week. Here we go. I'm going to put here YouTube because I'm filming at 10. And then I got to get to work. I don't have my watch with me because it was dying. Look at my tan of my, can you see that? It's like bonkery when I don't have my watch on. Okay, I've thought about getting an Aura. My best friend Kieran has an Aura and she keeps trying to sell me on getting it, and it's free with FSA, but I'm so addicted to my Fitbit. I've had it for a gajillion years that the idea of not having my Fitbit is like not a possibility. Okay, that is it. Here's Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to have a busy week for sure. And yeah, that's that, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed. I'm looking, there's some blank days that I need to get stickers on. I don't know, I just got burnt out. Look at like lashes. There's a few. We'll try to work on that. Okay, so that is that. That is story time, both in reference to how I'm feeling with my Pocket Moleskine Daily. Hopefully it's just a phase that I'm going through. And also the trip to Tahoe and the trauma that we all experienced. Oh my God. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you are new and you enjoy this kind of content, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. For everybody else, thanks for your patience. Thanks for understanding. I need to get into the rhythm because I know the algorithm on YouTube is like, and Instagram is like, this girl never posts anymore. So she goes, she's a slacker. We're not going to push her content out. So it is what it is. But thanks for being patient. And I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.